surface of our oceans. Now, we're exploring the top 10 mysteries of the deep that just may hold the proof that Earth has been visited by extraterrestrials. The ocean is the most mysterious place on Earth. It covers 70% of our planet, but less than 10% of it has been explored. In fact, we know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the bottom of our own oceans. But what we have discovered in the depths is a treasure trove of evidence for the ancient astronaut theory, like an incredible underwater formation that was found off the coast of Japan in the 1980s. Number 10 on our countdown of the top 10 mysteries of the deep, the Goooo Monument.
And I know you.
In the Pacific Ocean, at the westernmost tip of the Japanese archipelago, lies the small island of Yonaguni. In 1987, in nearby waters, dive tour operator Kiichiro Aratake made a shocking discovery. He found a massive complex of stone formations that lay hidden a mere 60 feet beneath the ocean surface.
It's an absolutely incredible structure. It looks like a giant staircase. There are steps in the bedrock with terraces. The symmetry and the regularity that people see on it just makes us think the impression. It looks like a huge, multifaceted pyramid platform that stretches over a huge area with all the details carved into it. There's areas where monoliths were said to have been standing. There's even dolmens or large slabs like lintels covering areas and created doorways and other features. Although some researchers suggest that the so-called Yonaguni Monument is simply a rock formation, many experts, including Japanese archaeologist Masaki Kimura, have come to believe it is an artificial structure that was built in the distant past. There are several reasons why I think this is not a natural formation. Because of these things, there is no doubt to me that this was made that seem to be of artificial origin and not of a natural origin. Because it's too precise. Was really artificially altered at a time when the water levels of the oceans were low. We know that this happened at some point in the last ice age, which was 14,000 years ago. This massive underwater structure completely different of an advanced civilization that existed to that point more than 10,000 years ago. What I'm going back to is somebody could suggest that this could go so the question is, how well does the know with this limited ability to system that's there? If they have access to it, would solve a lot of problems and try to understand how a civilization could not such enterprise without what we see are the necessary skills to do so. One thing of doing it thousands of years ago the stories about its construction can be found in the mythology of Japan's royal family. It was said in ancient Japan that the dragon god lived at the bottom of the ocean. His daughter had a daughter, and her child was Jimmu, the first emperor of Japan. To be descended from a dragon is to be from the divine dimension of nature, but also from the stars.
When these underwater structures of Yonaguni were found, the Japanese became thrilled. They believed that part of the story was right there in southern Japan.
Well, it seems to me like the same.
To me, the Yonaguni monument presents clear evidence that an advanced society existed on Earth long before our earliest recorded history. And in fact, numerous ancient cultures around the world tell similar stories of lost civilizations, including one that ended up submerged beneath the sea. Number 9 in our countdown of the top 10 mysteries of the deep, the lost continent of New. The Pacific Ocean. This body of water is the largest on Earth, covering more than 68 million square miles. Curiously, many ancient peoples living throughout this vast expanse share the same story of a long-lost, sunken civilization, often referred to as the Lemuria or Mu.
Mu is this huge continent that supposedly existed from Hawaii in the north down to Easter Island in the southeast, right away across the Micronesia in the west. It thrived perhaps 50,000 years ago and was sunk beneath the waves, possibly at the end of the last ice age. Among the many legends expressed by Polynesians and native Hawaiians, one is that the lost continent of Earth was home to visitors from the Pleiades.
They were like brother and sister.
We have more of a connection with the Pleiades, but we call it the people that have it. According to our traditions, and some people that lie, this is all rule of primarily people that might refer to. And just didn't want that, they never do but we see it. The Hawaiians believe that the Hawaiian Islands were originally part of Mu, and the belief is that the Pleiadians were the original settlers of Mu. While most mainstream scholars dismiss the stories of Mu as being little more than a fanciful myth, ancient astronaut theorists claim that legends of Mu can still be found today in the mysterious ruins of Nanmadol. Nanmadol's huge basalt city that sits on the edge of the island of Pompeii in Micronesia, it's in the Pacific Ocean. It's made up of hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of these huge basalt columns, and much of the site is still submerged in the water, suggesting it must have been built many thousands of years ago. Some people also suggested that maybe Nanmadol was the last remnant of Mu that was still above water, and it was simply indicative of what had sunk beneath the waves from this advanced civilization. Could it be that the structures on Nanmadol are ruins of an ancient extraterrestrial civilization known as Mu? According to Rufino Mauricio, the director of the Federal State of Micronesia Office of National Archives, it's a distinct possibility.
The existence of Nanmadol itself continues to puzzle people because it welcomes all kinds of possibilities, including possibilities of people from outer space influencing what was
I never
built here.
expected he would kill his son because of it. But now the very thing he wanted, this infernal key to hell, is in Lilith's hands. It must relate to her search for Astro.
Legends of lost civilizations and sunken cities can be found in cultures all around the world, but one has captured the public's imagination more than any other, and some believe we may have found evidence of its existence in the Bermuda Triangle. Number 8 on our top 10 mysteries of the deep, Atlantis. For over 2,000 years, the lost continent of Atlantis has sparked the imaginations of historians and explorers. The first reference of Atlantis that we have is in Plato's dialogues by Timaeus and Critias.
The very end of Tinius talks about this mythical place called Atlantis, from where any and all knowledge of the world came. And so some people have suggested that the first civilization on Earth may have been Atlantean. According to legend, Atlantis was founded by the god Poseidon. He fell in love with a human woman named Cleto. And they had 5 sets of twins. And these twins went on to be the founders of Atlantis.
Atlantis is thought to be a great civilization of high culture and technological achievement. They had robotics at a very advanced level, the power of levitation, which is how they built their glorious cities. They achieved things that we still are not able to do.
According to Plato, Atlantis was destroyed in a single night by a cataclysmic flood, which some identify as the Great Flood described in the Bible. But where the famous city was located remains a mystery. Atlantis was allegedly this landmass that existed beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which is today's Strait of Gibraltar. And to this day, if Atlantis existed, we have no idea where exactly Atlantis was. While most mainstream historians dismiss the story of the sunken civilization of Atlantis as a myth, ancient astronaut theorists believe it really existed. And as evidence, they point to a remarkable discovery made off the coast of Cuba. American explorer are conducting an oceanic survey of the coast when they detect curious formations more than 2,000 feet underwater.
I was in control room on the board of the ship, but suddenly appeared very large, very dark images of perfect geographical shapes. This structure reminds me of ancient harbor structures made of large stones placed one on top of another.
They found when they were taking images some kind of other structures. In certain areas, there appeared to be some big city built down there. It's about 2 square kilometers in size. So this is something quite astonishing because this is a reality. So much so, this stuff 70,000 years that the underwater ruins on the coast of Cuba are the actual remains of Atlantis. Ancient astronaut theorists say yes, and as further evidence, they point to their location near the Bermuda Triangle, a region notorious for mysterious lights, strange disappearances, and unexplained phenomena.
It's speculated that in Atlantis, they were creating huge pyramids and energy devices. They were filling all these pyramids with its
Don't have enough fuel.
If you are researching ancient Atlantis, this is exactly what I discovered that you are looking for. Some kind of European
Out of fuel.
is unlike any other in the ancient or modern world.
The interesting part about this is the composition of the ingots that they found. The metal is 80% copper and 20% zinc. There was other things found, but that's the majority of the composition. What's interesting about this is that zinc doesn't naturally occur. We didn't have zinc until about 1,000 years ago, and this is 2,600 years old.
How is it possible that such an advanced alloy was produced thousands of years ago, centuries before man had the technology to create it? After conducting an analysis, scientists believe the mysterious alloy is orichalcum, a metal associated with the legendary continent of Atlantis.
According to Plato, orichalcum was an orangish gold type metal that was used in a wall. It's thought that orichalcum was some kind of alloy of copper and gold. The walls of Atlantis were wallpapered, literally, with this reddish gold metal.
According to Plato, this metal was given to the people of Atlantis by the name the actual discovery of the orichalcum metal exists at one time, passing this knowledge to humanity. The Atlantis was the actual physical location, constantly harnessing and utilizing other advanced metals. The reason why this ties into the ancient astronaut theory is based on an idea that the ancient gods of Greece were visiting extraterrestrials. What this ancient astronaut theorists say yes, and suggest that further evidence of extraterrestrial contact can be found submerged in the waters off the coast of India. India is a treasure trove for the ancient theory. Its mythology shines full of stories of flying chariots descending from the sky. Every so often, the ocean presents evidence that these stories can be true. At number 6 on our list of the top 10 mysteries of the deep are the lost pagodas of Mahabalipuram. Mahabalipuram, India. December 26, 2004. When 10% of the water levels in the city as the waters receded, residents noticed something astonishing emerging from the city. The ruins of several ancient buildings. That 500 or so years, the people that were there, they still some walls and some structures that they never seen before, despite the water was gone. For the over time period of years around the world, the destruction of these underwater ruins was unnatural. It was written about others, but a sensational story contained in ancient sacred texts called the Puranas is not mythological but historical. Years ago, 7 devotees stood about a point, but 6 of them became submerged beneath the sea into the surface of the to this day.
The legend says that the god Indra became jealous, especially of the other gods depicted at the site, and that he then sent a flood against the city.
Hindu mythology really reads like the wildest science fiction of today. It's filled with all kinds of magic stones, flying spaceships. In fact, ancient India, their entire pantheon of gods is based exclusively on cosmic origin that they arrive from space. For centuries, many Hindus believe that the shrine of the Fkin represents the one surviving pagoda that was attacked. over the sea ocean levels in 2004 be the remains of the other 6 pagodas, proving that the incredible story is true.
There are evidence that the legends are really correct about this place. So this is far from an archaeologist's assume. There seems to be an indication that this was a real event, one that perhaps included extraterrestrials.
If you leave Mahabalipuram and travel 1,000 miles northwest, you will find another mysterious site off the coast of India. Broken beneath the waves are the ruins of an ancient city that some believe was the home of an extraterrestrial being. Number 5 on our list, the sunken city of Dwarka. Dwarka, Northwest India, April 1983. Marine archaeologist Dr. S.R. Rao begins a 7-year underwater exploration just off the coast of this ancient fishing town. On what he finds is stunning. Submerged 20 feet beneath the surface of the ocean, he finds sandstone walls, streets, and further evidence of a prosperous ancient city that sank into the sea.
At Dwarka, what has been found so far under the ocean is incredibly tantalizing. For instance, there's this huge wall, estimated about 580 meters long. Pottery has been found, anchors have been found, so this seems to have been a maritime city.
The remains that have been discovered beneath the waters have been radiocarbon dated to at least 9,500 years. So this was many thousands of years older than that of Sumeria, Egypt and China. So what exactly was going on in India at this time?
For centuries, the modern-day city of Dwarka was thought by many Hindus to be the Dwarka described in the Mahabharata as the ancient kingdom of the god Krishna. According to the text, during the Kurukshetra war, a rival to Krishna, Lord Salva, attacked Dwarka from a flying chariot.
He actually flew over Dwarka using his chariot. He started bombarding the city of Dwarka, throwing down all kinds of weapons.
Shortly after the Great War, Krishna is killed. And the city, this magnificent city built on land that came out of the sea, sank back into the ocean again. It only existed during the time that Krishna lived there.
Is it possible that the pre-Vedic cultures of India really did have high technology? And I think from the ancient accounts and what's now been discovered at Dwarka, the answer has to be yes.
The discoveries at Dwarka and Mahabalipuram provide sensational evidence that ancient Hindu stories of advanced technology are not works of fiction. And there is yet another incredible underwater structure located between India and Sri Lanka, and may offer further proof. Number 4 on our list, Rama's Bridge. Just off the southeastern tip of India lies Sri Lanka. This island nation has been an important trading hub for thousands of years, but it is nearly impossible for ships to pass between Sri Lanka and India due to a more than 30-mile-long underwater barrier that links the two land masses. If you look at satellite imagery, you can see that there seems to be some sort of a connector, a road. This is referred to as Rama's Bridge. The mainstream viewpoint is that Rama's Bridge is a chain of natural limestone shoals, but millions of Hindus believe the barrier is, in fact, an ancient bridge, one that was built by the god for whom it is named. Rama is a major Hindu deity, considered by some to be the supreme being. According to the ancient Sanskrit text, the Ramayana, Rama's wife was kidnapped and taken to the kingdom of Lanka. To rescue her, Rama used magical construction techniques to build a bridge to Lanka.
Some of the interesting details of the building of Rama's bridge is that they were writing Rama's name on these stones, and that would magically levitate the stones. And some of these are very big stones, too.
According to the mythology, Rama lived around 6,000 years ago, and there is an interesting fact that some geologists carbon date the material in the bottom, be dating around the same time, so that kind of corroborates whether or not the story is connected to the mythology, because the age of Rama is around that period.
In 2018, government officials in India voted against plans to cut a shipping link through the middle of the barrier, showing their support for the notion that the underwater structure known as Rama's Bridge was in fact built by the Hindu deity.
Rama's bridge to Sri Lanka is real. And you have to ask yourself, was it built artificially by levitating stones and putting them there? That's what the Ramayana tells us.
Some of the mysteries we've investigated on ancient aliens are so baffling, we can only guess at what might explain them. And perhaps one of the most mystifying lies on the islands of Malta. Number 3 on our countdown of the top 10 mysteries of the deep, the Malta Cartwrights.
In the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, just south of Sicily, lies the Republic of Malta. This tiny island nation boasts some of the most impressive megalithic structures on the planet. And crisscrossing the islands is something even more mysterious. A complex network of grooves carved into the bedrock, known simply as the Cartwrights.
Something that Malta is very well known for archaeologically, besides its megalithic temples, are the Cartwrights. These are ruts literally in the limestone rock.
We don't know what these Cartwrights are. You could speculate it was for the wagon, for the chariot. No, it was not, because sometimes they came together. The weight changes all the time, so it cannot be for chariot.
If you have grooves that were created by some sort of a transportation device, well, it had to have been pulled by something. So where are the footprints? There are no footprints.
How and why the Cartwrights were formed remains a mystery, but their existence poses a profound possibility. Because some believe they may reveal that there was human activity on Malta many thousands of years before what has been suggested by mainstream archaeology.
We have Cartwrights that go into the Mediterranean Sea, and then they also come out on the other side. How is this possible?
Some of the Cartwrights that extend from dry land down into the sea have reportedly been found at depths of as much as 140 feet. This presents a critical clue as to just how long ago they must have been created.
I suspect that some of these Cartwrights are really ancient, and when I say really ancient, that is going back to before the end of the last ice age. So approximately 12,000 years or so, the ice age ended. We know some of these Cartwrights going into the water, that lived in dry land when sea levels were much lower.
If you propose the idea that 12,000 years ago, which is a fact, the worldwide water levels were lower, then all of a sudden these Cartwrights that go into the Mediterranean Sea make sense. The fact that these Cartwrights exist, to me, illustrates that an advanced civilization
must have existed at that time. If the Cartwrights are more than 12,000 years old, as some researchers suggest, who would have been around to create them? It's a question that continues to baffle mainstream archaeologists. But according to local traditions, the megalithic structures on Malta were built by a race of giant beings who came to Earth from the stars.
We have to be open to the possibility that whoever built these were not in fact human beings, but were perhaps a separate race, and their existence and even their origins is completely shrouded in mystery.
Are the so-called Cartwrights that not only crisscross Malta, but extend deep into the Mediterranean Sea, evidence of advanced otherworldly visitors? For ancient astronaut theorists, the answer is a resounding yes. And they suggest that the waters of our oceans not only contain evidence of extraterrestrial visitation in the distant past, but they are the location of encounters that are happening to this very day.
Most people assume that UFOs are only seen up in the sky. And what if I told you that some of the most widely reported sightings involve mysterious craft flying in and out of our oceans? Number 2 on our countdown of the top 10 mysteries of the deep, unidentified submersible objects.
Oh, goodness. Thank you.
Hitachi Province, Japan, 1803. Local fishermen are astonished when a mysterious metal craft washes ashore that is unlike anything they have ever seen.
This craft was likened to the shape of a Japanese incense burner. It is almost literally a flying disc, a flying saucer. On the outside of this craft were multiple small metal plates, not too dissimilar to heat-resistant tiles that you find, say, on a space shuttle.
The hatch opened,
and a young woman came out of the craft, dressed in clothes that had never been seen before, and speaking a language that nobody understood in the slightest.
The story of the strange craft appears in 3 different Japanese texts. Even today, modern historians struggle to understand what this means.
Another famous case involving a strange craft emerging from underwater occurred in Yunnan Province, China on October 24th, 1991. A local man was fishing on Fuxian Lake on a clear and tranquil day when a large disc suddenly flew out of the water.
This strange craft actually emerged from the waters of the lake. He described it as a shining disc. This UFO was so close and so powerful that it actually tossed the boat around. And then rapidly, this craft just disappeared up into the sky.
San Diego, California, July 15th, 2019. Navy personnel aboard the USS Omaha capture footage of a mysterious round object flying into the ocean. Night footage actually shows a craft that is spherical and is flying through the air, and then suddenly it flies into the water without making a splash. Japan, China, San Diego. These are just 3 out of hundreds of reports of what are known as USOs.
A USO is an unidentified submerged object. It's the same thing as a UFO, except this one's in the water and the UFO is a flying object. You see them off the coast of California. You see them a lot in the Gulf of Mexico. Spend some time on the Florida Gulf Coast, you will see a USO. These objects are flying along through the atmosphere, and then suddenly they go into the ocean. No splash, no weight, nothing. They slip right into the water, and they come out of the water in many cases, fly away. Now, one such never came out of the water, and a submarine was actually dispatched to look for a craft that may have crashed, but never found anything.
The stresses and strains by applying to the atmosphere in outer space and then plunging into the oceans would be enough to rupture any of our non-aircraft.
For ancient astronaut theorists, perhaps the most compelling story of an extraterrestrial presence in Earth's oceans can be found in an account from 1492, recorded by Christopher Columbus.
There's a famous story about Christopher Columbus, and he wrote this in his journals, that as he was moving around the Atlantic, he's perhaps one of the first witnesses to describe a transmedium craft like this, which could hover above the water and then disappear into it like a submarine.
Objects that fly out of the water have been around thousands of years. Or these machines the extraterrestrials have under the water.
There is only one mystery left in our countdown, and you don't want to miss it because what was discovered just may be evidence of an underwater alien base. On Ancient Aliens, we've investigated the ocean's biggest mysteries for evidence of extraterrestrial contact in the distant past. But recent satellite images may suggest that otherworldly beings are inhabiting our oceans today. Number 1 on our list of the top 10 mysteries of the deep, underwater alien bases. Southern California, with almost 200 miles of coastline. This picturesque region is famous for its beaches, surfing, and abundant sea life. It is also a hotspot for sightings of mysterious lights in the water.
Folks have seen lights in the water outside Point Dume of the Malibu coast. There is this very strange 911 phone from an observer near Point Dume saying he saw a light coming out of the water and calling it into the sheriff's station.
One theory about this transmedium travel and these USOs is that what we're seeing is evidence of underwater bases. They're operating here, but under the oceans, right under our noses.
While the idea of underwater alien bases in Earth's oceans may sound like science fiction, in 2014, satellite imagery revealed a very curious formation on the seabed, 6 miles off the coast of Malibu.
The satellite photos would show what seems to be an oval, flat-topped structure that's got legs coming down and holding it up. It's about 2,000 feet underwater.
A lot of people got very excited by this discovery. It's really quite striking, and it really does look artificial. It makes me wonder, is this, as some believe, an extraterrestrial base?
Is there a connection between the strange lights seen in the waters off the coast of Southern California and the mysterious undersea structure captured in the satellite image? For some scientists, it's a distinct possibility.
If all these objects are buzzing our aircraft, they must have a base of operations. But you see, if they have a base of operations that's easily detected by us humans, it would sort of defeat the purpose of observing us. So perhaps it's an underwater base that is away from prying eyes of humans so that we don't interfere with their plans. That cannot be rolled out.
While the formation discovered deep in the ocean off the coast of Malibu is highly unusual, it is not entirely unique. Across the globe, mysterious anomalies have been detected on the seabed that some suggest are underwater alien structures.
The Under-Ocean Geological Survey determined there were dome-like structures between Cuba and the coast of Florida. Was that a USO base? Because underwater, underneath our oceans, best place. The very best place to conceal yourself.
Absolutely anything could be hiding within the oceans themselves. And the depths of them could hide vehicles, could even hide bases. For hundreds, if not thousands of years, we would not be aware of their presence.
The oceans have everything that the crew of a ship would need to survive. It's got plants and animals that can be harvested for food. There are minerals and salt that can be taken from the water. You can even separate the hydrogen from the oxygen in the water to create fuels and air to breathe. Everything that is necessary for life can be found in the oceans. And it may be that if extraterrestrials are in our oceans, they're not just hiding there. This may be their preferred environment.
The idea that alien bases might be hidden on the ocean floor is incredibly thrilling. But while much of the ocean's depths remain impossible to explore, ancient astronaut theorists believe that the deeper we go, the closer we'll get to the truth about mankind's extraterrestrial past. In the 21st century, UFOs have gone from fringe science to mainstream obsession,
with the interest from so many agencies, including NASA. Everybody's getting into the game of understanding UFOs.
A new generation of researchers is employing technology so advanced it can unlock clues invisible to the human eye. We have physical scientific evidence of these phenomena existing with real scientific equipment. And unidentified flying objects have even captured the attention of experts at the highest levels of government. The Pentagon is now seriously investigating the extraterrestrial question. Is humankind now closer than ever to understanding the strange events that are happening in our skies?
We have a lot more information. We have a lot of cases. We have stories of people who've interacted with them. It's an exciting time.
There is a doorway in the universe. Beyond it is the promise of truth. It demands we question everything we have ever been taught. The evidence is all around us. The future is right before our eyes. We are not alone. We have never been alone. June 5th, 2023. The news website, The Debrief, reports that former intelligence official David Grush has given Congress classified information about deeply covert military programs that possess craft of non-human origin. The sensational report captures the attention of people at the highest levels of government.
By law, we're required to take that seriously. An urgent concern and one with some credibility to it, so we'll do our job.
David Grush is just the latest in a number of high-level whistleblowers who have come forward in recent years with claims that the U.S. government knows much more about the UFO phenomenon than they have disclosed to the public.
I think this new report is interesting because it continues to show that we really have to talk about this. Now, I suspect that there's an undercurrent of we'd really rather not talk about it, but there are people within the military who really wouldn't mind talking about this a little more because they're curious too. Now, on the official end at least, you can report these things without fear of retribution, and that wasn't always the case.
For the first time in history, members of Congress, senators, and even former presidents are openly talking about the possibility of an extraterrestrial presence on Earth.
With hearings in Congress, with reports from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the hunt for UFOs is now mainstream.
This paradigm shift has emboldened whistleblowers like David Grush to come forward with extraordinary claims and represents a major turning point in the hunt for UFOs.
What makes the modern hunt for UFOs different than what we've seen in the past is the fact that it's becoming legitimized. We have recent revelations from the U.S. military talking about sightings that they recorded and have finally released under some pressure. All these people are going to come together to learn how to study UFOs, UAPs is what I call them, which is a brilliant idea.
The Pentagon has been incredibly open-minded suddenly to admit, yes, we've investigated UFOs. But that is only half of the story, because we know that they've been investigating UFOs even earlier, starting in the 40s and 50s.
In 1947, Air Force General Nathan Twining, head of the Air Technical Service Command, established a program known as Project Sign to collect and evaluate information about reported UFO sightings.
Project Sign was a short-lived endeavor, about a year or so, and it was during that time that there was the reported estimate of the situation that said that this is a bona fide phenomenon and we need to study it. Following on the heels of Project Sign was Project Grudge, aptly named, which took a very dismissive tone to the phenomenon and concluded there's nothing here.
At the conclusion of Project Grudge in 1952, the military created Project Blue Book. The program continued to collect and evaluate UFO data, but now in a more public fashion.
Project Blue Book was largely not interested in whether there was a phenomenon, but more in controlling the public narrative.
Project Blue Book really wasn't an open conversation. It was the Air Force looking through the stuff saying, no, swamp gas, weather balloons, atmospheric effects, what have you, stigmas, hysteria. They're putting out a report and saying, nothing to see here, move along.
Between 1947 and 1969, investigators working on Projects Sign, Grudge, and Blue Book collectively reviewed over 12,000 sightings worldwide. However, on December 17, 1969, Air Force officials announced that they had concluded their inquiries into the UFO phenomenon.
The government said there's nothing to investigate, but by the way, there's 701 unexplained cases. They didn't explain why they didn't explain those cases. They just said there's nothing worth pursuing here.
When Project Blue Book concluded that 701 UFO cases left still unexplained, UFO researchers were skeptical about the government's claim that they were no longer interested in the phenomenon. Decades later, it came to light that the U.S. government was secretly investigating UFOs once again. In 2007, the Department of Defense established the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, or ATIP, a highly classified project tasked with investigating unidentified aerial phenomena. ATIP was officially acknowledged by the Pentagon in 2017, but soon after, it was discovered that the government had a second top-secret UFO program underway.
My poor old parents are getting on in age. Who will protect their home?
It turns out the
I
program
would
is
go check on them, but
the Advanced Aerospace Weapon System Application Program.
BOSSAR was the biggest UFO program in the history of our government. They had 50 full-time investigators. You think about Project Blue Book, there are a handful of people working on it full-time. 50 full-time investigators who travel all over the country, all over the world, gathering information. And they created the world's largest UFO database, 200,000 cases. And none of it has been made public. None of it has been released.
In 2020, the U.S. government established yet another program within the Department of Defense called the UAP Task Force. Its mission was to scientifically investigate and analyze military encounters with unidentified aerial phenomena. The chief scientist assigned to the task force was Dr. Travis Taylor, who has worked on various government and military projects going back decades. He was offered the position while investigating anomalous events on Skinwalker Ranch in Utah.
After the first couple of weeks that I'd come out to Skinwalker Ranch, we made some measurements that started. I thought the measurements looked real similar to electronic warfare or non-lethal human weapon systems. So I reported this, and I was invited to the Pentagon to give a presentation on what I had seen. The director of the UAP task force came into the meeting and invited me to join the task force.
Dr. Taylor and his colleagues at the UAP task force analyzed 144 cases documented by military personnel around the world, including photographic and video evidence, as well as scientific data taken at the encounters. On June 25th, 2021, their preliminary findings were presented to the Congressional Intelligence and Armed Services Committees.
Of those 144 cases, only one of them we were able to actually find was of terrestrial origin. It was something like a high-altitude balloon that was being used for scientific equipment. But 143 of the 144 was actually unexplainable with the data that we had. I get asked all the time, tell us the things that hasn't been released to the public yet. Well, I can't do that, of course. I sign non-disclosure agreements. Unless the government releases it as public information, I can't talk about it.
Could the U.S. government's UAP investigations have discovered important information that is being intentionally hidden from the public? And if so, might we soon learn of even more astounding evidence that is yet to be revealed? While the government still operates largely in secrecy, the hunt for UFOs has now been taken up by mainstream scientists and academics. And some of them are convinced that we may already have proof of an intelligent alien civilization. Ithaca, New York, 1960. At Cornell University, astronomer Frank Drake launches the first search for alien life performed by an academic institution. Using a massive radio telescope, Drake and his team scan the cosmos for evidence of radio signals that could be coming from an extraterrestrial civilization. While the Cornell program ultimately found nothing of interest, it paved the way for similar scientific efforts. The most prominent is the SETI Institute, which stands for the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence.
The kind of experiment that we do at the SETI Institute is a listening experiment. The idea is fairly straightforward. We're going to aim some antennas in the direction of that little star over there, which is not too far away and might have some planets, and, tune as much of the radio dial as we can to see if we pick up a signal. You have to look at a lot of stars in order to catch one that happens to be broadcasting into space now. So that's basically the strategy. You're just trying to find something that indicates there's somebody up there at least as clever as we are.
SETI astronomers have been listening to the cosmos since 1984. And in that time, they've come across some truly bizarre phenomena. Like an anomaly first detected in 2007, known as an FRB, or fast radio burst.
Fast radio bursts were found by an astronomer at West Virginia University. And he found a signal that only lasted for a fraction of a second. Just like that. About the time it takes your eye to blink. Okay? And it went from high frequency to lower frequency. So the question is, all right, where are they coming from and what are they? And if it's very far away, as they turned out to be, it's somebody else's galaxy, and we can pick it up here on Earth, it's going to be something that's really powerful. But we still don't know what fast radio bursts are.
While researchers continue to search for the source of the vast radio bursts, another, perhaps even more intriguing, celestial phenomenon has been observed in recent years. Interstellar objects, meaning objects from other star systems entering our solar system. The first interstellar visitor ever detected was a strange oblong object called Oumuamua.
Oumuamua was discovered by a telescope in Hawaii called Pan-STARRS on October 19, 2017. And the size of Oumuamua was roughly the size of a football field, somewhere between 100 and 200 meters.
Astronomer Dr. Bobby Lowe of Harvard University sent shockwaves through the world of academia when shortly after Oumuamua was detected, he made the extraordinary claim that the interstellar object may be some type of extraterrestrial craft.
Bobby Lowe did a very detailed analysis of Oumuamua and noted that its acceleration after it passed the sun was beyond what you would get from a gravitational boost. So that was interesting and difficult immediately to explain.
Professor Lowe said that Oumuamua
behaved artificially, unnaturally. He pointed to multiple areas like speed, acceleration, trajectory, where he said this was artificial. So in every respect, this thing raised some big questions.
A lot of people who wouldn't disregarded somebody else saying that as being kind of wacky said, this is the chairman of the Department of Harvard. This is somebody we respect. Maybe we got to have this conversation. So I think Lowe was very courageous to do that.
Only over the past 5 years, the first interstellar objects were discovered by astronomers, and that's what brought me to the subject. And hopefully within the coming decades, we'll have some evidence that tells us whether Oumuamua was from another civilization. And the way to find out is not to argue about it philosophically, but rather to look at the sky. So I established the Galileo Project in July 2021 to search for objects that may be artificial in origin from another civilization.
In 2021, Professor Lowe and his colleagues raised nearly $2 million and founded the Galileo Project, the largest effort to research UAPs in the history of the academic world, using a network of new and existing telescopes, as well as a variety of sky-scanning technologies. The Galileo Project aims to systematically search for possible extraterrestrial objects, both in space and within Earth's own atmosphere.
Within the Galileo Project, we are planning to design a space mission when the next unusual interstellar object like Oumuamua shows up. And we might send a probe that will take a close-up photograph of it. An object like Oumuamua could potentially be of artificial origin and indicate spacecraft that were sent by other civilizations. That would have huge implications for the future of humanity.
Professor Lowe is hopeful that the Galileo Project will help pave the way for other scientists to search for evidence of extraterrestrial life without fear of ridicule or repercussions. It is for this reason that he named his project after the Italian astronomer Galileo, who was persecuted in the 17th century for daring to challenge the established scientific notions of the time.
So the philosophers during the days of Galileo refused to look through his telescope when he was arguing that the evidence he finds implies that the Earth moves around the sun. They wanted to believe that the Earth is the center of the universe. And so they simply avoided the data and they put him in house arrest. so that nobody would listen to him. So, of course, if there is ridicule and stigma, and we don't want to fund the searches, then we will be exactly in the same position as those philosophers who refused to look through Galileo's telescope. If we are open-minded and willing to consider that possibility, that we are not alone and that we are not the smartest kid on the cosmic block, then we might find something.
While government UFO research remains top secret, data gathered by the Galileo Project will be open to the public, with findings published in peer-reviewed journals. The academic community's growing interest in unidentified aerial phenomena marks a new age of UFO hunting, an age that now includes scientific studies by the world's premier space organization, NASA. French Guiana, December 25th, 2021.
And liftoff, décollage, liftoff from a tropical rainforest to the edge of time itself.
At the Guiana Space Center, NASA launches the most powerful telescope ever constructed. The James Webb Space Telescope represents an ambitious $10 billion effort by NASA to see further than ever before into the deepest parts of the universe. Nearly 6 months into its mission, on July 11th, James Webb delivers its first incredible images of previously unknown galaxies, stars forming, and black holes. To many, the early success of this powerful tool demonstrates new promise that scientists may soon answer an age-old question: are we alone in the universe? We can now look into space with more clarity than in all of our previous human history. And with the new James Webb Telescope, some of those amazing images that we've gotten from Hubble 20, 30 years ago now are even more rich, more detailed, more amazing. And with James Webb too, you know, we will discover more and more exoplanets, and some of those exoplanets may contain similar intelligent life like on Earth.
Part of what the Webb Space Telescope is designed to do is to look for planets that exist in what's called the habitable or the Goldilocks zone. So they're the right distance from that kind of star to possibly be able to support life. Looking in the future, 10, 20 years, I think, and a lot of people that are a lot smarter than me think, that we're probably going to have found something we can classify as extraterrestrial life.
Considering the amazing images that the James Webb Space Telescope has produced, UFO hunters are asking, what would we find if NASA applied their incredible technology to search for evidence of extraterrestrials already visiting Earth? The question may soon be answered, because on June 9th, 2022, 1 month before the release of the first Webb Telescope images, NASA officials announced their plans to commission an independent study on UAPs.
When you think of it, NASA is the perfect organization to conduct research. They run the space station. They have satellites that go deep into space. They have interstellar missions out there at the far reaches of the cosmos. They're coming into our atmosphere from deep outer space. NASA would be the first one to be able to detect that.
On May 31st, 2023, NASA held its first public hearing to discuss the agency's mission in studying UAPs.
And it's now our collective responsibility to investigate these occurrences with the rigorous scientific scrutiny that they deserve. It provides an opportunity for us to expand our understanding of the world around us. As an organization dedicated to exploring the unknown, this work is in our DNA.
Could the unprecedented efforts of NASA to join the hunt for UFOs ultimately provide the tipping point in finding evidence of extraterrestrial life? And is it possible, as ancient astronaut theorists suggest, that NASA already possesses strong evidence that intelligent beings exist beyond Earth?
NASA's experience with UFOs dates right through from the very first Gemini missions, all the way through the Apollo missions, all the way through to the moon landings. We have encountered UFOs.
Former Apollo astronaut Edgar Mitchell, who I knew personally, spoke openly about his knowledge of not even just having seen UFOs, but alien bodies and technology in the possession of the United States government. You had other NASA astronauts, Gordon Cooper famously talked about UFOs that he saw as a pilot. You had James McDivitt, NASA astronaut, and quite a few others having seen UFOs.
There's the astonishing photo of a triangular craft taken in 1986 from the space site. You can clearly see this triangular craft there outside the window.
Now, the image is labeled space debris, so that's the official view on Mars. This is an interesting image. It shows something obviously quite strange, and it is. Multiple accounts of strange things picked up on NASA videos and photos. They've got huge databases, and one of the things when NASA announced that they were doing studies, they said, we are going to be looking at data. And people were asking themselves, well, what data are they talking about? Well, the data they already have and have been collecting for decades.
Now that NASA is officially investigating UFOs, might we soon have definitive evidence that there is an alien presence on Earth? While the world's premier space agency may be better equipped than anyone to uncover the truth about unidentified aerial phenomena, some researchers believe our greatest weapon in the hunt for UFOs is the smartphone, carried by ordinary citizens all over the world, or capturing high-definition footage of events that defy all conventional explanations. In clandestine throughout the world, there are depictions of what look like flying craft and strange beings. According to ancient astronaut theorists, these images represent the earliest documentation of extraterrestrial encounters. And they believe the best UFO hunters have always been ordinary citizens, recording what they see with their own eyes. In the ancient astronaut opinion, those stories of UFOs today are the same stories that our ancestors in the remote past all.
Casey. Okay. All right. All right, thank you. Swear to die.
It's one thing to have bad fish, and it's another thing to have your dog die. Really take some wind out of your sails. Gotta call and check in with the kids and see how they're doing. You guys there? Can you hear me, Charlie? Kaya? Okay. Hey, I love you guys. We're you went to heaven, okay?
Yeah.
Sorry I'm not there for you guys. Love you guys. I'm giving you air hugs over the phone, okay? They've heard from tonight. Right. It's cool both your kids are home crying. Dog was there when they were born. It's been their little buddy forever. Did a real good job taking care of him. Yeah, Paul. Huh. I want to turn that lever and I want to set one more right here. What do you think? Because I think the crowd are moving north.
A little squirt stir string?
One for squirt, yeah.
To honor the memory of this family's best friend.
I'm going to set this next string off on 67 bath line. It's got a little zigzag in it, a little tail wagger, like a dog's tail.
Casey moves his gear north to deeper water to get in front of the migrating biomass.
Alright guys, getting at it. Morning here for me. We gotta do something to change our luck here. We're gonna set a little squirt memorial string. I think we can get into something here. So, this squirt will pull through on us for this one. Roger, Mom. Sounds good.
Just see it. Not going to happen. He is going to leave himself well placed. Yeah, that transition down to Channel 19 to the area to be pleased with. Channel 19 should be flying in at the panel. You just sense this is a must hit. It's got a chance, double 12. Darren Connell with his first ton plus finish. Now, it was the ton plus finishes at the back end of his game against Jules Van Dongen that started turning things in his favour. How many more of those has he got? He may well need some against Cullen. You mentioned Lawrence Ryder's come back. Well, that was based on 100 plus checkouts. It's a start. Joe Colony wins the match. If he doesn't, Kendall has the darts to get to set. Cullen is pushed all the way back to minimum 3 legs away from victory again. Frustrations of set play. There in front. Getting seeded to there, Ryan Sterling that goes as planned to be seed, which is competition so far. Great stuff from Cullen. It looks a loose day to be clattering into. It is 180 number 6 for Joe Cullen.
Penhall at 5 against Van Dongen. He's not had a single one today, and he needed some.
Which will leave it pretty.
60.
I guess that's the minimum at least. And a minimum 140. Is this the beginning of the end?
88 the 18 second. Double 7.
70.
Cannot get it. Match start miss.
It was a 1-all-1 finish when it was looking like a coloured victory in the previous leg. All about the first out.
Well, if this is bringing the curtain down on Darren Penhall's darts career, it's the place to do it. A winner on the World Championship stage, and he survived the match darts. Now he survived 2 more. And Darren Penhall, another ton-plus finish, and this game is still alive.
Yes, the right smile from Joe Cullen tells you absolutely everything in what he's thinking. He's just trying to get his thoughts back together and hope. Can't finish this.
Would have been filthy if he had. 3 treble 24. But it doesn't happen. Double 2. Joe Cullen, the rock star, for a straight sets victory. That will do it. Joe Cullen is through to the post-Christmas action. The rock star, good in patches and too good overall for Darren Penhall. The Australian #1 goes out on debut in the second round. And while it won't be a performance to scare any of the other big boys left going, Joe Cullen has got the job done for the minimum of fuss.
Yeah, very disciplined throughout, didn't panic in that second set. Darren Penhall had his chances there, but he's had his moment as Darren. Joe Cullen, very solid, very professional, just what the doctor ordered.
Just what the doctor ordered, and Joe Cullen will be back after Christmas. He is the first player through in this little section of the draw to the 3rd round. Brian Searle, heavy metal, Ian White, or Japan's Tomoyo Goto, will take him on in that 3rd round. And look where it is in the 4th quarter, in the same little section of the draw. That's Cool and Luke Humphries, the title favourite, the man who's won 3 of the last 4 major titles. This is the anatomy of the game. As you can see, 12 points difference between them in the averages. The better player won, Joe Cullen, half a dozen 180s. The maximums weren't there for Darren Penhall like they were against Jules Van Dongen. Ultimately, he pays the price. He gets a debut win in the World Championship against Jules Van Dongen. But Cullen ends his run. And here is the rock star.
Joe, many congratulations, and you can enjoy your Christmas.
Yeah. It's all about getting over the first hurdle. Darren, he's a great, proper top lad. You know, he's played us all before, and he didn't really get going. He played in spurts, but I'm more than happy with that. It was a drama-free win, which is what I wanted.
Is it just getting through? Just that's the key. However you do it, just getting through over the time.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, I've had a shocking record here, sort of early doors. So, you know, I'm used to having a. Ooh, I just swallowed it. I'm used to having a rubbish Christmas, but you know, of late, you know, I've gained in a different place now, and I like to say, if I won 3-2 there with a 60 average, I don't care as long as I win.
You get used to this place year after year. I mean, you've grown into it. You know what it's about.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. I think there used to be a different layout. The stage used to be over there. I never won a game over there, so since it's changed down here, I've done all right. So yeah, it's one of those. Get past the awkward first round, you know. Darren played fantastic yesterday against Jules Van Dongen. So I was expecting a good game against him, and he didn't materialise for him, but that's for my game.
We always map out the draws, who can play who at potential stages. Have you got a view of how you want to go as far as you can go? How you feeling?
I haven't, you know. We all looked at the draw, you know. We've looked at the draw. If I beat the winner of Ryan Searle, Ian White, or whatever the guy he's playing, then I'll probably play Luke Humphries, but he's the tournament favourite, but I know it's cliche.
In matches in Canada, the US, but kind of like always just let things ride to the end, and then you come up with it. I think it just might be a personality trait or something, where you just get your best focus when you really need it. But it's a dangerous way to operate.
Yeah, wins this afternoon as well for Jim Williams and for Ricky Evans. I thought Ricky Evans actually was really impressive. He had that period where he reeled off 8 legs on the spin, and that kind of put the game to bed.
Yeah, and he was having visits with the 3 perfect darts and such. You know, I think that's something where he can build off of that. You know,
and he's playing the best darts on the planet, but it's like day in, day out, game in, game out. And when Gary Anderson sits in this seat as a 2-time world champion, says, Luke's the man to beat. Luke's the man to beat. Yeah. You believe what he says.
Yeah, out of all the players, whether you're Gary Anderson, who's won this twice, whether you're Michael Van Gerwen, going for a 4th title, Gerwin Price, who's put in sensational averages time and time again throughout the year, it is Luke Humphries who must be coming into this tournament. Yes, he's going for a major world title, but his confidence must be sky high. He must be the most confident player out there.
Yeah, absolutely, and rightly so. You know, you think the
World Championship up against Fallon Sherritt, the Queen of the Palace, needs no introduction. And then we've already mentioned Luke Humphries, the number 3 seed, but maybe this year he is the man to beat. He takes on Lee Evans in his opener at this year's World. And just a word on Fallon then. How much does that match come down to, well, maybe Jermaine Montemina and how much he holds it together, not just against the opponent tonight, but against the crowd as well?
Yeah, of all the draws that Fallon could have got, I think this is a cracker for him. I agree. And forget seasonal averages, because there's stats for everything. There's stats for stats' sake. He averaged 83 on the women's series, but when she gets up on that stage, she's played 5 matches, lowest average has been 88. If she averages 88, she will push Jermaine Montemina to the absolute brink. Hopefully speaking, he's been playing better than that, but if you look at the composure kind of stats, the composure guy, he makes Cameron Menzies look like the most composed man on the planet. He's got no composure. He's just got 0 composure. He will panic from start to finish. The only way I think he can win is that if he rides it out 3-0, maybe 3-1, but when it comes to the 5th legs in sets, Fallon will hold it together better. It's all about who plays better on the day, of course, but if it is a composure contest, there's a...
I didn't know that at the time. You know, this was right at the start. You know, I was getting palpitations. You know, that happened in everyday life, and then, you know, all of a sudden, it's like that when it come over me, it was really, really tough to.
This is the World Championship. Quite simply, the biggest show on the planet. Welcome to the Worlds. It's good to be back. This is the one that counts. Too good. Too good. Smell it. Dance. We are going the whole way. Hello and a very warm welcome. You join us live on Sky Sports from the Alexandra Palace. It's the Paddy Power World Dance Championship, brought to you by the Professional Dance Corporation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands joining us live and the millions joining us around the world, it's time to meet the players. Ladies and gentlemen, taking part in his World Championship debut from Ireland, would you please welcome Dylan O'Shea? Taking part in his third World Championship. He is the PDC Super League champion. Would you please welcome Florian
There he is.
Night 3 then, and here we go. It's our first match of the evening. We have Dylan Slevin. I'm getting that man there. Sorry, Liverpool. Well, Slevin, 21-year-old from Ireland, making his World Championship debut. Still the tour car at the start of the season. Has won a title on the development tour this year. Qualified for his maiden World Championship with a Pro Tour Order of Merit up against Florian Hempel, the 33-year-old who's making a third appearance at the World. He's always made it past this stage as well. He went all the way to the third round a couple of years ago, went out in the second round last year, lost then to Luke Humphries. But I mentioned it earlier, he was one of the last players to qualify for Ali Pali, enter a qualifier at the end of November to book his spot here. A reminder as well, awaiting the winner of this one is the number 15 seed, Dimitri Van den Berg, of course, all the way to the semi-finals last year. Right then, for the first time this evening, I'll hand you over to Tom and our team of Laura Turner, and good evening to Rod Sturt.
Good evening, Emma. Good evening, everyone. Well, everyone loves a good movie over Christmas, and tonight we kick off with Ocean's 11 against the Hempel of Doom, or Dylan Slevin versus Florian Hempel, if you prefer. It's good evening to Laura Turner. What do you expect for the year, Laura?
Good evening. think it's another one that's got the potential. It could be quite close, but if you asked me about Dylan Slevin at the beginning of the season, he got his tour card early on, made semi-final in the first Pro Tour, but hasn't really kicked on too much off the back of that. And it's Florian Hempel who's put himself in a form of late. He's come through quite a grueling qualifier, beating the likes of Luke Peters, Carol Sedlacek, Alan Suter to secure a place up here. And I think Hempel's just got a little bit more to lose because he's also fighting for his tour card. So for me, it just edges the way of the German, but stepping on debut. Who knows? We've seen debutantes do some amazing things up there.
Well, Hempel goes off as the bookmaker's favourite here. As I was saying, he's had some success on the World Championship stage. He's looking to book the darts with David Dimitri van den Berg and repeat his victory over the Belgian from a couple of years ago when he upset the then 5th seed in the second round. Having beaten his compatriot Martin Schindler in the first round, then he beat Dimitri before losing to Raymond Smith. Last year it took Luke Humphries to knock him out, so he knows what he's doing now, for sure.
43.
Luke Humphries, the aforementioned, is the headline act tonight as the tournament favourite starts his bid for a first world crown to continue his flying form on the PDC Tour.
100.
That takes the Irish left-hander down to 158. Hempel first to attempt to finish. He's not going to take it out.
58. Hitting you for 158.
An outside chance here, but again, just in a position to try and put a bit of pressure on this 94 for Hempel.
Looking for the double-double finish. Not halfway there, couldn't clean up the tops, and Slevin now a 2-dart combination. Making a 3-dart combination on tops.
54. Lauren, you require 40.
See, that's it. The German, and he is a hold of throw. The opener, I'd say.
60.
Nobody wants to be on naught for too long on their debut on that stage, Laura, do they? So this is an important one. Already will be the second of the match for Dylan Slevin. He doesn't want to be struggling to get a leg on the ball for too long, because then it just becomes more and more problematic.
So most dart players will tell you that the first match of any tournament is the most daunting, one of the hardest ones. But when you think this is the it's the World Championships, it just adds all those extra layers and elements. So as you say, if you can just get a leg under his belt, it will just act as a real settler for the Irishman.
140. 58. 44. Then you're 144.
That really takes the heat off Slevin at the back end of this second leg.
100. Lauren, you're 160.
You think so? There's some Slevin back to 44, just kind of settling hold of throw. This opening step.
140.
Very tall German, very adept at hitting the target towards the top of the board. Well, that is a miss, big number. It leaves double 13. It goes straight out in, straight in. Well, it was a slip up, but it made no difference.
Florian to Europa.
Slevin quite go the way as planned, but just gave himself a moment. to recompose and split in the double.
Well, the fact is, all the doubles are the same size. But when he first appeared on the big stage, he wore some very dowdy garments. They were all plain polo shirts, but now he's moved on to the Explosion in the Paint Factory shirts, which are very dapper.
60.
Drops the milk. That's when we want to run in with our buckets and start milking. So, Gil, can I go ahead and, because
Yeah, she just dropped, so go ahead. You can go ahead and give her some grain, and then we'll get you in there to milk her also. And they have 4 teats, so we'll have one person on each side milking as fast as they can.
Right.
And they only get milk for 90 seconds, and that's it. So once that milk appears, we just have 90 seconds to run in there and milk as fast as we can.
Okay, now I want you to warm up your hands before you put your hands on those fun bags, and know that camels know who's in there. They know.
It's really nice trumpet. This really clean. This thing's nice.
Wow. Wow, see, answers to a Chemistry 2 test. Turn ignition key off. Disconnect battery cable at negative battery terminal. Disconnect wire at regular terminal marked BAT. Turn identified with tag supply C, figure 1.
Hey, blow out this interior.
Still alive? Oh my gosh, you're trying to kill me, weren't you?
It's the little guy.
We are poised to set a record right now. It's been only 20 minutes, and we're almost set.
The question remains, is the car small, or is Van simply large? We may never know.
It's pretty funky. It's just funky. Think it's actually moving right along? We're gonna get a jet put on here and pull the engine out. I don't think the car's in great shape because Chip feels like he's got plenty of time to do a little social media, send a couple texts. Looking good. I am taking out. I am going to back him and attack him.
Okay, T-Bird is pretty much stripped. Lucky's just gonna get the master cylinder and brake pedal assembly out of there. Ron's got everything out. We'll clean it out, load it up on the truck, get it off to media, get it back here, see what we're actually dealing with, get it sealed.
But before we go any further, Chip meets with Tiffany, our insider, to find out a little bit more about Doug and what it's going to take to make his T-Bird soar once again.
Hey, Chip.
Hey, Tiffany. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Ready to do this?
Yep.
Very good. Now, you know, our goal is to build Doug's dream car.
Yes.
But I don't get to talk to him, so I'm going to pick your brain.
All right.
Figure out exactly what we're going to build.
I'll do my best.
He's had the car for about a year?
Yeah, about a year and a half.
How long have you known?
About 12 years.
12 years.
Yeah. The T-Bird was actually his mom's favorite car. Actually, his mom and dad. His dad passed away a couple of years ago, and his mom is in her 80s. I think it would be the essence of success for her to see him drive her favorite car.
If you were to think of a theme that the car would have, what would you think of?
Well, I think the car is fairly elegant to begin with, so I think if it was a little more, I don't know, maybe more of a muscle car.
So elegant, but still muscle car.
Yeah.
Okay, if you were to think of one word that would describe it,
Say,
what describes him?
tenacious.
Tenacious. Good word.
Doug deserves to be overhauled because he's spent his life pursuing music, a career in music, and he's so driven and so hardworking, and he's foregone a lot of personal, luxuries that other people might get for themselves. I think he'll be over the moon to have something just done for him, to have a beautiful, gorgeous car.
Does he have any other hobbies?
He likes outdoor sports, surfing, hiking, outdoorsy. He's very outdoorsy.
What's his favorite color?
I would say blue.
Blue is his favorite color?
Yeah, and black.
And black.
Dark blue and black.
And black. What color do you think you would want to do his car?
The original code on the car is black. I know that he's a big fan of the show and loves your Foo Spade. Dark blue black or something like that.
Motor and trans.
The motor, I think it's a 292, and I think it's the original motor, so I will leave this to your expertise.
It is a stick now?
Yeah. I believe it's a 3-speed manual with overdrive right now.
Do you want to keep it a stick?
I personally would like an automatic.
Then you could drive it.
Yeah, then I could drive it.
And maybe even small.
Yes. Yeah. It's actually my favorite car as well. It's a bonus.
Interior.
I know that in his research, he's seen where they put bucket seats in, and I think that would be something you would like.
You like the buckets?
Yeah.
And then when it comes to interior color.
I'm not really sure about this. I think if the car was dark, like, might stand out too much.
Now, all of the original trim,
Uh-huh.
do you see him wanting to keep that?
I think some of the chrome accents would be nice.
And a larger diameter wheel and tire.
A little bit. Not monster.
Muscle car, hot
muscle
rod.
car, hot rod, the racing kind of wheel.
I have a couple ideas on what we can do with that.
Tiffany has given Chip a mental picture of Doug's dream T-Bird, and now he translates it to the page.
Not as much hot rod as Elliot.
This will be amazing to have. Chip's interview was great. He got to know a lot about Doug. He got me to describe him in adjectives that then translated into colors and shapes, and suddenly became a car. Nice. Stunning.
It's a blue sketch.
Yeah, that drawing was the embodiment of Doug in car form.
Does that look like him?
Yeah, it looks absolutely stunning.
Cool.
He's gonna love it.
Don't fly away, Doug. We got your T-Bird.
I love.
Tan France knows what yes looks like.
Oh, you want that moment where everything stops, the bride's here.
It's when turns into
You can amaze your I know.
when you know, you know.
Oh, I love it. I say yes to the dress.
Absolutely. Say yes to the dress with Tan France. Starts Wednesday 7:30 on TLC.
Rosie's bringing a roll of goodies. Brian's bringing the dance fund. What did you bring in?
I brought the Capri favorites.
Great with Cadbury favorites.
What if you could attack tough stains in less time? Persil 3-in-1 ketchups. Just toss one in the dryer. Any way you like. Tough on stains. Fuss-free ketchups. Persil ketchups.
Pain can strike anywhere. Help melt the pain away with Nurofen Meltlets, a quick, convenient pain relief that melts in your mouth so you can keep going without breaking stride. Nurofen Meltlets, leave the pain to us.
The time's getting closer. We're licking our lips for prawns, fish and mussels, for nibbles and dips, with value to count on for this magic day to help you to celebrate in a fresh way.
What better story is there than a story unique to you? It could explain how being good at running actually runs in the family. Show a loved one there could be more to their story. Give the gift of discovery with Ancestry DNA plus traits.
At Spotlight's Christmas sale, 60% on Christmas fabrics, trees, decorations, baubles, tableware, wraps and ribbons. And run the JA 1400 sewing machine VIP price $220. So you can make it, gift it and be merry. All backed by our bargain guarantee. Sale on now. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
Hello, Santa? Wow, I can't believe it's really you.
It's finally Christmas.
It's the best time of the year.
Holidays are here. Can I get some cheer?
It's me. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
If we can't do it this year, there's no excuse.
It's always hard to work with your family.
The Hoffman Family Gold, Thursday, 7:30 on Discovery.
With the T-Bird torn apart and media blasted,
It's starting to become glaringly evident that this ride has seen its fair share of wear and tear.
Yeah, unless you got hammered hard.
Oh, man. This car looked a lot better when it looked like they were already starting to go down to bare metal, but now that you're actually at bare metal, there's a whole lot of problems.
But before the A-Team can get to the extensive repair work, Doug's ride makes its way to the booth for a coat of rust-preventing sealer.
First order of business, get cracking on those damaged body panels.
We got the stock flip cut off after we transferred all the measurements to the ground. Now we received our Fatman fabrication front flip that we're going to put in, make sure all the measurements line up, and then weld it in.
National Parts Depot supplied everything for this car. You can virtually rebuild a total T-Bird with all their parts. It's great. So it makes overhauling a lot of fun and a lot easier. This is a real Ford service part. It's not reproduction.
Pretty sure I ordered everything for this car, but in the event I didn't, they have 4 fully stocked locations nationwide, so we can get anything as quick as we need. Shoot that. Think fast.
What is that?
Thunderbird, baby.
Ford Racing just shipped out Doug's motor. It's a 302X, 340 horsepower. Let's get this thing open and check it out. That's pretty sweet.
Now we can make motor mounts.
So whose transmission are we running?
I think we'll run an AOD with overdrive.
That'd be perfect.
And they can cruise really nice on the freeway, 70, 1800 RPM.
Nice. I want to make this red. I want to make the heads and the intake red.
Okay.
And then keep the valve covers polished. And let's find a matching air cleaner.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good.
Doug, it's all for you.
All right, right now we're just going to test fit the motor, make sure everything works, and get the motor mounts all welded up. Sorry, did you want anything else? I don't have any more. It fits. We got the engine inside the T-Bird here. This is approximately where it's going to be. Now we need to figure out the transmission mount and the motor mount, make it all stationary. It's a trim to fit, obviously.
Metalwork continues even as the body guys get started prepping the panels for paint.
Chip doing a little multitasking, welding while also getting a thigh workout. Suzanne Summers would be proud.
You know, she's joking.
You know everything. One of the major modifications happening on Doug's T-Bird has to do with the exhaust here in the rear of the car. Now, it's a very signature look of the T-Bird to have the exhaust coming out the rear here. But Chip didn't like the way the bumper guards looked. He loves those nice, clean bumpers. So, out with these, Dre's going to fill these holes, and the exhaust is actually going to be relocated under the bumper. Chip's going to do some cutouts. Just cut a square out. And just roll a piece and put it in. Okay. We can do that. Wouldn't be overhauling if we didn't do some last minute things. And you know, you gotta put those goose touches on it. Actually, deleting the exhaust coming through the rear is gonna be really, really clean. I know it's not gonna be signature 55 T-Bird look, but it's gonna be Fusified. Good news is, while Dre is taking care of this metal work, the body guys are working, getting it ready for paint. This is a much smaller car than we're used to in the last couple episodes, so hopefully the T-Bird will be rolling into the paint shop in a day or two.
This is Holiday Hoopie Challenge number 3. The Motor Trade host and cars are the gift that keeps on giving. Wow, this is good. Dang it. I have no idea what I'm doing.
It doesn't adjust for her.
when these brakes are not working. Shut up. Oh, bro. Give her help, bro. Holidays. Holiday Hoopty Challenge. Saturday, 8:30 on Turbo.
I'm gonna kill Aquaman and destroy everything he holds dear. I'm gonna murder his family and burn his kingdom to ash.
He must be stopped or a global meltdown is imminent.
You'll pick a fight.
What's life? Cocaine.
Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. In cinemas Boxing Day.
Flybuys is here to help you crack Christmas. Like if your extended family keeps them extended and you need extra gifts, use points or points plus cash at the Flybuys store, saving dollars for all the other things you need, like straws for the extra cav.
This Christmas, take the time to melt into a moment of bliss with Lindor. Irresistibly smooth chocolate from the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
What if you could attack tough stains in less time? Persil 3-in-1 capsules. Just toss one in the dryer, any way you like. Tough on stains, fuss-free capsules. Persil capsules.
Sometimes you feel hopeless, alone. You don't know what to do. Reaching out to talk is the first step to hope. ASB has helped youth line bring on overnight counsellors, so young people can now get support, day and night.
Ooh, that looks good, buddy. You know it, pal. Fried chicken, crispy bacon, onion rings. It doesn't get better. Just